I guess I just really wanted to show myself that I could do it, that I could, I just remember thinking like, um, I'm just gonna like, I know I love wrestling, but like, how much do I
Mhm.
really love wrestling when I know that I'm probably not putting the best version of myself out there, but I got to go out there and compete anyway. And that can be like a really scary thing when you're a really competitive person. It can be really scary to like go out there and be like, I'm 70% right now, 60%, or whatever I was. So I just thought, I was like, I'm going to prove to myself, like, I love wrestling. I'm going to find a way. And I was like, I'm going to inspire my teammates by competing through this. I'm going to inspire the people around me. Like, um, I think that was something that I focused on. I also focused on just like, it might not be pretty, but I'm gonna win ugly is like kind of like a phrase I had in my mind. Like I'm just gonna might not look pretty. It might not look like myself, but I'm just gonna find ways to get the job done. Take pride in that.
Michael Kemerer was a four-time finalist and state champ for Franklin Regional in Pennsylvania. He went on to have a decorated career at the University of Iowa, becoming a five-time All-American and national finalist. He never finished lower than fourth. Michael is now an assistant coach at the University of Minnesota, where he just helped Max McEnelly to a national title. I'm Kelby Bachman, and this is Let's Talk Wrestling. In the heart of West Union, Iowa, lies a hidden gem in Euphoria Coffee. Owned by local residents Nicole and Shane Havenstreit, they source everything they can from local vendors. From hot and iced drinks, to savory breakfast burritos, to baked goods, to botany tea, and even homemade waffles, Euphoria Coffee is a place your entire family can enjoy. You can find more information at drinkeuphoriacoffee2go.com or visit their Facebook page. And we also have a special gift just for you. Next time you stop in, you can get a free baked good with a $20 purchase. Just mention the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. Euphoria Coffee. Our purpose is deeper than coffee. What are you up to?
Not much. Just got back from the facility, just making calls and coaching, and that's kind of it. So
Yeah, are you guys gearing up for the US Open then?
yeah, we got a couple guys going out there, a couple young guys, and then a couple guys going seniors too. So just getting ready for that. It's coming up fast. Crazy. It's like a quick turnaround after NCAs.
Yeah, that's something that we've been kind of discussing as a staff a little bit is like, you think the season's over in Cleveland, or in March, and like we're sitting here talking, and like Coach Barber's up to his neck and stuff, and Coach Johnston, like everybody's still so dang busy, and they're like,
Oh yeah.
you
It
know,
doesn't seem like there's much of a break. Like it just keeps going.
yeah, yeah, and it's going to continue, until probably June, with U23s and U20s next month.
Yeah, yeah, it'll stay busy, and then the 15th, I think. Well, unless they change it, then you can start calling the next class. Like it just kind of keeps rolling.
Yeah. Are you so a question about that. Do you and I don't know if you can answer this, but like do you guys actually call at like midnight? Do you like set a timer and like you have an alarm and you call somebody at midnight?
Well, we did this year. I think I don't know in the past if they have, but it was just funny. Like everyone we talked to, like everyone has said, like, or we'd be like, hey, like, do you think if you recruit, you would like they're all like, yeah. Like I was like, all right, like I guess if that's what they like, then um, we'll do it. But it seems I think they like it at first. The kids like it, but then all of a sudden, the actual reality of having to make a decision sets in like a month later, and they're like, okay,
Yeah.
now I'm sick of this.
Yeah. Were you called at midnight?
In high school, I don't even remember. I feel like it wasn't a thing then.
Oh, really? Okay.
But I know we had our first
I'm
day of
right.
calls, but I feel like there were some calls in the morning. I feel like back then people weren't doing the midnight thing, but now it's just like you just keep adding stuff every year. I feel like just more and more to it.
Yeah, right. And yeah, because it's funny you say that because me and Coach Joe were just talking, and he said the same thing. He's like, when I first got to the Air Force Academy, like I had some more slower spots, and he's like, now I just feel like I'm so dang busy all the time.
Yeah, I feel like that's what everyone that's been in coaching has said. Like it just continues to get more and more year round, more busy, like less dead periods, like everything that happens, you just have to like work more, I guess.
Yeah. Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
Um, I don't know. I think it's probably not a great thing. No, I think it's probably a bad. I don't know.
Okay.
Just like it just feels like it's just a constant. It just keeps escalating. Where it would be nice if like I don't know, there was a little bit more work life balance. As much as we all love it, like it would just be nice
Right.
to maybe push things back a little bit. But
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you just finished up your season at Minnesota. How do you assess it? Good, bad, mediocre, not mediocre, but like in the middle. Like I mean, I saw Jory Volt. That was cool to be up front and center to watch him punch his ticket to All American. But yeah,
yeah, I mean, I think it was really good. A lot of positives. Like I don't know, when I look at kind of just did we wrestle well versus expectations or not? I think it's like the simplest way to look at it, and
yeah,
I feel like a lot of the guys did do that. I don't know. It's individual sports, so like as a team, like us, breaking the top 10, I know that's better than we were probably projected by a little bit. And obviously, having a champ is huge for the program. Like,
yeah,
Sparks breaking through his first All American is amazing. So, all those things are sweet. But at the same time, like, a couple guys that I think could have broken through too that didn't. So, I don't know. You always kind of feel like you could maybe have done more, but
right. Yeah, I think Sparks was, in my opinion, very happy for a guy like him. I feel like he's just the type of wrestler anybody wants in their program, and so for him to finally get the fruits of his labor was kind of refreshing to see. You know that he just seems like a guy that works so hard. And finally become an All American. That was awesome.
yeah, he just put it together. Like, I mean, when he's wrestling his best, he is really tough. Like, so he just, found that consistency at the right time. And, man, he was close in the quarterfinals, or maybe it was round of 16. He lost to the ASU kid. Like, he was right there to win that one. Like, Big Tens and Nationals, he just wrestled really well the whole postseason, which was just really cool to see.
Yeah. And I feel like he battled some injuries too in the past that have kind of nagged him from or held him back a little bit, maybe from reaching his ultimate goal. So it was, again, I think a little extra sweet. Charlie Millard is another one that um, I look at that I would want him on my team. He just seems like one of those guys that just works and he does whatever you ask, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. He turned a lot of heads this year. I mean, he had his match with Antrell Taylor where it was down to the wire. Like, he beat a couple other really good guys. Like, for him, it's just finding a little bit more consistency. But I do think he's someone that nobody wants to wrestle. Like, he wrestles really
Yeah.
hard. He's really good in every position. Like, um, just, I think he's going to keep taking big jumps. But people saw it last year. Like, he was one that I feel like a lot of people were really excited to watch wrestle.
Yeah. How do you find that consistency? Like now that you've been coaching a little bit and you had to maybe find that yourself while you were wrestling, like how do you find consistency? Like I know there's probably no secret, but you know?
Yeah. I would say it's just, I mean, obviously it's different for everybody, but I think simple is
Hmm.
better with a lot of things. And so like finding consistency, like take Sparks for example, like a really guy that's always been really close, but like he broke through, found consistency. We just talked about just staying down in his stance, staying calm, and like moving his feet. Like just I think just anchoring your focus to like very simple things goes a long
Hmm.
way. Like and just practicing that every day. Like there's usually two or three things that if you really can get yourself to just like commit to focusing on and being consistent with, I feel like that in itself will take you really far with consistency and doesn't matter like the outside factors or really like where you're wrestling, who you're wrestling. Like if you're focusing on these couple things, like I feel like that can get pretty consistent performances.
Yeah. And isn't that funny how it like hammering down just a few things can take you that far? Like we think it's kind of more complex than that. Like, how are people so good? And it's like, well, there's only a few things that they just do so well, and it's like we think it's so much more complex than that, and it's kind of
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. Everyone wants like the big fancy thing, and obviously there's guys that can do incredible things and have different
Mhm.
skills, but like just being simple, knowing what you're good at, and making guys wrestle where you're good, like that just it goes so far.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Yeah, and we're kind of like always searching for kind of the new or next best thing. Like
Yeah,
I remember when Spencer Lee kind of came up. First, it was like the John Smith low single, and then I know there was stuff before that, but Spencer Lee's kind of roll through tilt where, and now it kind of Jax Forrest has the ball and chain tilt now.
yeah,
I feel like that. Uh, but yeah, you're right. Just doing your thing and consistently is the best option, honestly. But
yeah, yeah. I mean, people can learn from those guys. Obviously, like that's how technique spreads and everything. But um, I don't know. Sometimes it's like if you find your lane of something that you're good at and you can build around it, like
yeah,
something to be said for that.
yeah. Um, I wanted to ask you, you were kind of involved in I would say one of the highlights of the tournament. When Max jumps into your arms and kind of bull rushes you, if you will. Like I don't like, were you not prepared for that, or what? Or what happened there?
Well, my this is really what happened in my mind. So in the semis, he had a big win over Ferrari.
Yeah,
Super excited. He came over and he went for the hug. He went hug, so I went hug, and it was like one of those bro hugs, you know. So
yeah.
then finals, I don't know. I'm in the moment and I'm just excited, and he starts coming over, and I think my instinct just like went that it was kind of the same thing. And at the last moment, he went airborne, caught me on my heels. I was so excited. It happened really fast, but I think my adrenaline kicked in where I was like, I just got to get up. I think someone helped me up a little bit, and uh, yeah, it almost makes it more memorable. It's funny, but I don't know why. I mean, that's what people do. They jump in their coach's arms, so you'd think I'd have been more ready for it. But
Yeah,
hey, it was my first champ,
yeah,
so I guess that makes it even more memorable.
yeah. That had to be a pretty awesome moment as a coach. Like when Carter became an All-American. I mean, I'm just the director of ops, and I went insane. So like I can't imagine being a coach and having someone being a national champion. I mean, especially in that bracket, dude. I mean, so that just had to be, I don't know, off the chain, man. Like,
Yeah, yeah, it was special. It was incredible. I mean, something you never forget. But I knew what he was capable of. Like I knew
sure.
how good he is. I mean, he just won the Worlds in August. Like I know he took a couple losses this year, but you just know when you know how good someone is and the work they put in. Like you just want to see them get the result. You just want to see them, and nothing's given in this sport, and it'll be the same thing next year. It won't be given.
Yeah.
I still think he's the best guy, but it's just there's a lot of guys there that are competitors, so you're always chasing a little bit. But to get it done and like you got to enjoy those moments. Like coach
Yeah.
wrestling has a lot of ups and downs, but someone reaches the top, you got to celebrate it. So it was sweet.
Yeah. I want to actually, like you mentioned the semifinals match. How do you coach a match like that, wrestling, competing against somebody like Ferrari who has a different style than pretty much kind of anybody else that you run up against, and it goes into tiebreakers. I mean, do you feel kind of like, one, how do you coach that? And two, do you feel kind of helpless in that 30-30 tiebreaker as a coach, being like this is it. Like, I don't know how to coach this moment.
Um, yeah, I mean, Ferrari's such a tricky guy to wrestle. I mean, he hasn't been taken down in years, like, which is just a crazy thing to even say. So I knew it would be a tough match. Max is very offensive, so it's just two guys with different styles, and yeah, it's a very unique style and unique challenge. And we kind of prepared for him, but I knew that you can prepare for him, but he's a hard guy to score on. He's a hard guy to get to. But I know Max is a gamer. He's a competitor. I felt good about it, but you don't know how the match is going to go until you watch it. So I will say, when it went to those rideouts, it was something we've talked about a lot because Max is someone that he's so known for being dynamic on his feet, but he can be good on top and bottom when he commits to it and when he wants to.
Mhm.
We just talked a lot throughout the year and especially spent time in the last couple weeks on that situation. You could end up in this situation where you need to ride somebody. What's your plan to ride somebody? What's your plan to get away quick? If it goes to tiebreakers, you want to go down first, you want to defer. Like all those things are just things that we talked about.
Mhm.
It's just important to plan for those moments. And he, but he's a gamer, and we had a good plan. And I know top and bottom, people are like, I didn't feel confident when it was going there, maybe, but I'm like, he's a competitor and he can ride when he
Mhm.
needs to, and he can get out quick when he needs to. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It must be fun coaching guys like that.
yeah,
You
it
know?
is. It's great.
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you still put your shoes on every now and again or?
yeah, I'm on the mat pretty much every practice.
Oh, okay.
I wrestle with Max all the time, but I wrestle with kind of everyone in that 65 to 97, even maybe a 57 here, maybe Charlie here and there. But yeah, I'm on the mat all the time. I feel like we got a great coaching staff,
Yeah.
but being the youngest on the staff, I think it's something that I can offer, just being consistently on the mat and getting my hands on guys and feeling things. And the other coaches are on the mat as well, but
Yeah.
just being a little bit younger, I just try to take advantage of it because I know that eventually those days are coming where you're a little more sore the next day.
Yeah. Are you getting to that point where you're kind of sore the next day or not yet?
I feel pretty good. I mean, not I'm not training like to win a world title. I'm in
Right.
there trying to work with the guys, wrestle with the guys.
Okay.
So I feel pretty good. Like obviously there's days where I'm sore, but I feel good. I feel like it's a little bit more relaxed. So maybe I don't know if it's wrestle smarter or wrestle just
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a little bit different. So I feel like I can be on the mat a lot and not be as beat up as maybe I would have been.
I know what you mean. When you're not training to compete and you're training to teach, there's they're kind of like just two different kind of styles of practice that you're putting your body through, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's definitely a little bit different. But I do want to be, in good enough shape to be able to wrestle with these guys, push them, and
Yeah.
just give them another feel, just another person to push them in the room. So
Yeah. How did you wind up at Minnesota? Because I know you were at Lehigh for a bit. And from the outside looking in, that seemed kind of almost like the perfect fit because you're from out there and Lehigh's there and and so there you go. And now I think to the surprise of some, you kind of found your way back to the Midwest, which is awesome. The Midwest is great. So, you know.
I was at Brown actually.
Brown, that's what I meant. Yes, that's what I meant because you were with Mickey Philippi and Lean and those guys. Sorry, Brown. Yes.
Yeah, same colors. So I guess
Yeah.
there.
Dang
Um,
it.
I was at Brown.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I was enjoying my time there. They're a program that's building, and um,
Yeah.
they've taken a lot of steps even since I've been there. They had a guy in a blood round this year, so it was really cool to see that. But yeah, it just kind of came up pretty organically. I was at a wrestling camp, and Coach Becker was at the camp too, and they just happened to have an opening, kind of, and talked with him a little bit about it. He said there was an opportunity, and my wife's from the Midwest. She's from Des Moines,
Okay.
so it's kind of exciting for her, just for us to be a little bit closer. And I also have just always had a lot of respect for the program, just
Yeah.
with like Jay Robinson and his legacy and the guys coming through there. And when I was in high school, before I was committed anywhere, I remember watching them on the Big Ten Network, and they had really good teams. And I was like, man, like that's a legacy program, something that I could be a part of. And I know I would learn a lot just because they've had so much success for so long. They've got a good system, they've got a good way of doing things. So just yeah, we just checked it out and we really meshed well with the people. Like I said, like we like the Midwest, we like the guys and everything, and so it just kind of made sense.
Yeah. Oh, so your wife is from Des Moines, huh?
Yeah, yeah, we
Okay.
met at Iowa. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. Okay. Is your family still mostly back out on the East Coast?
Yeah, yeah. My whole family pretty much is in Pittsburgh. I got a sister that lives in Florida, but yeah, pretty much
Okay.
everything is back in Pittsburgh area. So
Yeah. And you have four sisters. I
yeah,
didn't know this about you also. You have a twin,
yeah, yeah.
Marissa.
Yes, yes.
That's I didn't are you guys like identical or just what do they call them like fraternal?
We're fraternal. Yeah, yeah. That's always like a kind of like a surprise to people. Which I mean, it makes sense because I don't know. They only know me through wrestling, so they wouldn't know that. But yeah, I got four sisters. I have an older sister, a twin sister, two younger sisters. My older sister and my twin sister each have a couple of kids. So I got some
Yeah.
nieces and a nephew. And so,
Nice.
but yeah, so I had a twin sister. So yeah, my sisters growing up, they're really into dance. My one sister was into softball. So they had a bunch of activities and stuff, but
Yeah.
no wrestlers.
Yeah. So were you the first one kind of in your family to go the wrestling route?
My dad and his brothers wrestled, so
Okay.
that's kind of what got me into it. I was like 4 or 5 years old whenever I started wrestling. Just I don't know. I think it was my mom's idea to get me into it. She's like, "Oh, he should
Yeah.
try it," and I was like probably one of the smallest guys in the room, and yeah, yeah, it was a good fit.
Yeah. Your mom was the one that did she do any sports growing up?
Um, That's a good question. I don't know. We've been talking about her athletic career a ton.
Yeah.
I know she's athletic. I know she did some
Mhm.
sports like maybe softball and some things, but she wasn't like a college athlete or anything. My dad
Yeah.
wasn't either, but I know that my dad liked wrestling when he did it, and my mom, she still really loves wrestling. Like
Mhm.
obviously, I'm not competing anymore, but I think she follows it more than my dad does now. She's just a wrestling fan and likes following it, and which is really cool. So she was
Yeah.
always super into it.
Yeah. I love that. Like what I kind of ask some people when growing up, I ask them like if their parents did it, and when they say no, it's kind of fun to hear how the parents almost become they just become part of the sport as well as their kids do it, and it just like sucks you in, man. Like I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, it really does. I feel like I don't know, my whole family, like I just feel like wrestling was such a big part of my life and my parents were into it and they all just kind of by coincidence, I guess, kind of were sucked into it too. And they had a lot going on, but I don't know,
Yeah.
it's a sport. Whenever you're like really into wrestling, I feel like it's just like sucks everybody in. So
Yeah. Now, are you from Pennsylvania or like originally are your parents from there? Did you grow up there or did you guys kind of move around a little bit?
yeah, I'm from there, lived there my whole life. My parents, they were high school sweethearts from a school in the area, maybe, I don't know, 25 minutes away,
Really?
of Hempfield. So yeah, so yeah, they were in the area and my grandparents were all in the area too. So
Mhm.
a lot of Western Pennsylvania roots. There's a lot of Kemerer is like a pretty popular name in that region. Like there's a decent amount of cousins and things. So it's just kind of yeah, there's a lot of Kemmers in Pennsylvania. So
Yeah. Did that ever maybe come into play about you maybe staying closer to that little area that you guys have built as a family? Like when it became like college and stuff.
yeah, a little bit. I surprisingly like we weren't super like I have to be close to home. Like my parents were always just kind of like wherever feels like the best fit, whatever's the best opportunity. Like
Yeah.
you got to put that first. Like we'll support you no matter where you are. Obviously, if you're closer, it's a little bit easier. But they were just super supportive of like somewhere where I felt like it was a good fit for me. They knew how important wrestling was to me, and I took school really seriously, so they knew that was important to me too. So they just kind of supported whatever I did and said, we'll get back behind it. We'll get behind it. And when I was out of Iowa, my dad like didn't miss a match, and my mom didn't
Nice.
miss many, so they were super
Mhm.
supportive.
Yeah. What do they do?
So my dad is an electrical engineer. He started his own company probably like 20 years ago now. When I was in the
Wow.
elementary school, he started his own company and he's been doing that since. And then my mom, she stopped working around that time, but She was in the business world. She worked for Bank of New York Mellon. She was like she got an MBA from Pitt and stuff, so she was
Jeez.
super into business and but she had 5 kids and decided
Yeah.
to stay home and everything. So, but she's really smart and she probably could have killed it in a career, but she had to take care of all of us running all over the place.
Yeah. What about your sisters then? So like you obviously came out to Iowa. Where did they branch off to? You said one's in Florida?
Yeah, yeah. So my older sister, she went to Ohio State actually,
Oh, okay.
also an electrical engineer. And she moved around a little bit. She was in Colorado for a little bit. She was in California for a little bit, and then she met her now husband, who was also from Western PA. So she moved back.
What are the odds of that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They have a funny story. They were in the same daycare as kids, and
Oh, no way.
they were in one of their like babysitter, their daycare lady. They were in the wedding. They were the flower girl and the ring bearer. So it's kind of funny. And then it came
Wow.
full circle. They kind of reconnected and got married. And she
Hmm.
moved back to Pittsburgh probably 5 years ago, I would say. And then they have 2 little girls now. And she's an electrical engineer. And then my twin sister, she went to Duquesne in Pittsburgh, and she's a physician's assistant. So so she stayed in the area. She's married with 2 girls and a little boy. So she's doing great. And then my one of my younger sisters she's also a physician's assistant. She went to a school, Seton Hill, which is in that Western Pennsylvania area, a smaller school. Um, and then my youngest sister, she went to Ohio State as well, and she's a biomedical engineer down in
Jeez.
Florida. So yeah, she's down there. She just got married a couple months. I got married in August. She got married a couple months after, and now they live down there. And so she's working for Arthrex, she's doing biomedical engineering stuff.
Jeez.
So yeah, she's smart. They're all smart. They're smarter than me. So
Wow. Wow,
yeah,
that's quite the family there. Wow.
yeah, yeah.
It's funny because like you may have went to school longer than all of them.
Yeah, yeah, I know. That is the funny thing because um yeah, I probably finished up around when my younger sister did, who was 3 years younger than me, because
Yeah.
I had to get all those different degrees and stay in college as long as I could. So
Yeah. They probably had to kick you out, didn't they?
yeah, they were running out of things for me. They're like, please
Yeah.
get here.
When did you kind of start taking wrestling pretty seriously? I mean, you said you started when you were like 5, but when did you really start wrestling?
Um, I mean, I was always just a really competitive kid. I don't know if that was
Yeah.
just me or my dad got it instilled in me or whatever, but I was always really competitive, so it was always really important to me. But then um, I remember in about 6th grade uh, is when Young Guns, the wrestling club, started coming to my high school. I had gone to some other clubs that were great, but I just remember around that time, middle school, Jody Strittmatter and John Strittmatter's brother come in, running practice, and just speaking a lot about like accountability and like getting up and getting workouts in and like doing hard things kind of. And it just really
Yeah.
stuck with me and like motivated me. So I kind of remember in middle school, just it turned a little bit from like my dad was making me do things to like I was the one that wanted to do things, and he wasn't telling me to do this or asking me to do this. Like I wanted to be doing those things and seek out training opportunities and competitions and everything. So I would say around that time is whenever I got like really serious about it.
And then was there another time that followed after that where you started to find some high level success or, some success that made you believe like you were like like we talked about with Sparks getting the fruits of the labor? Did that start to happen to you at some point?
Yeah, I mean, I like was always a kid that like I always kind of had success, but you just don't really know as far as like wrestling in college or things like that. I started to
Yeah.
have goals of that, but I didn't think about it much. But my ninth grade year, I went to Super 32 and I went 106, and I just remember being super motivated to do well and go there. I knew it was a really tough tournament, and I wrestled great, and I won the tournament. And then
Oh, wow.
I was like, all right, like That's a big one because I had been watching guys go and wrestling that I knew how tough it was. So that was kind of the start of my career. So from there, I was like, all right, like I'm ready for high school wrestling. Let's go.
Yeah. 106.
Yeah,
Man. So you were a little guy.
I was a little guy. Yeah, I was eighth grade. I was like I wrestled like 97 or something at the state tournament. So I was small.
Wow.
Um, I just kind of just hit puberty really late. Like I just
Yeah.
stayed small. Was the smallest guy for a while there.
When did you start to grow then? Like how was kind of the projection or progression, I should say, through high school? You were 106, but you ended up at like what, 149 or 145, somewhere in there?
Yeah, so I went six my freshman year, and I was cutting pretty hard to get down there. Like I
Oh,
actually
really?
a lot of the year at 13, and I cut to six at the end of the year. And then I went to 26 the next year, so I
Oh,
was a
wow.
pretty big jump there. And I wasn't cutting a ton for 26, and then 138 I went the next year, and then 145 my senior year. So
Jeez. You kind of just kept getting bigger because even like throughout college, like you started what? You started at Iowa like 149,
49, yep.
and then you went to 57, and then all of a sudden you're at 74. You just
Yeah, my dad is a pretty big guy, and he
okay.
kind of grew late. Like he kind of hit puberty late, and he kind of grew slow. So I kind of knew that I was going to get bigger. I didn't end up
Hmm.
getting as big as him, but I just like he just kept growing from what I knew. So I didn't think I would get up to 74. Like I was 45 my senior year. I was like, I'll probably get up to 57, maybe 65 if I like really just grow more than I expect. But I never would have guessed 74. And so
Yeah.
it's kind of just crazy.
Was it difficult to get up to 74 then, or like did that just sort of naturally happen as unexpected as you thought it would?
I would say at 57, I was there for 2 years. My second year, I
Yeah.
was cutting really hard. Um, I knew it would probably be best for the team to be at 74. Marinelli was at 65, and he's kind of the opposite of me, where like he was a 165 pounder for like from like seventh grade on. So I was like,
Forever.
yeah, he was like kind of the opposite. So I knew I had a little bit bigger of a frame, and I just was like, I'm just gonna commit to it and kind of see. And I got the weight up pretty quick, but it's just like getting used to being bigger, getting used to wrestling bigger guys. Like
Mhm.
something I tell guys that are trying to move up a weight class or move up multiple weight classes that I did that I think helped me is I would purposely in the room try to grab like I was trying to grab the 84s because when I was a 57, I'd wrestle the 65s. I wouldn't really wrestle the 74s. But I was like, if I'm going to 74, like I want to get used to wrestling the 84, and then the 74 won't feel like they're massive, you know? So
Yeah.
that was kind of how I try to get used to the strength and the size. And I do think it helped me a lot. Just helped me like get used to it because your style changes a little bit moving up. So
Yeah.
just wanted to get used to that.
Yeah. Did it take, how long did it, do you think it would, it, how long do you think it took you to kind of adjust to that weight?
It took like the summer, I would say. Like,
Oh, wow. Okay. That
I
seems pretty quick, I guess.
yeah, I think so. Like, I had a match or two I can remember when I went to 74 where like I just didn't really wrestle like guys have bigger hips. Like you don't really want to get stuck under them as much. Like at the
Yeah.
kind of you get. And I remember wrestling a match where I kind of gassed myself that way. So there's a couple things that you can learn in live competition, but for the most part, I feel like I kind of had made the adjustment. But then just the more time I got there, like
Yeah.
to a point where it's like, oh, this is my weight class. I don't even know anything else. So
Yeah. Well, was it a little surprising that you were able to get up and stay at 74? Because that is quite the jump. And you said you kind of had the frame for it, but to actually have it happen, I didn't know if there was a point where you were like, man, I don't know if this is gonna work out. Like,
yeah, I think I felt pretty good about it. I would say so. I actually, I guess I forgot. So I moved up. I was planning on 74, and I missed the whole year to injury.
mhm.
So during that time, I got hurt, and whenever I've gotten surgeries and stuff, I can't work out. Sometimes I've like shrunk a little bit just from I don't
Yeah.
do much. So I shrunk a little bit then. So then I was like, like man, I kind of made some progress. I was feeling good. Now I'm like this might be tough, but But it came back on fine. If anything, maybe I had another year where I was like really filling out into it. And so I almost
Mhm.
feel like it was even more natural when I came back.
Yeah. Do you look at pictures of like when you started as a freshman and then look where you ended as a senior and be like, what the?
Oh, it's yeah. I mean, I couldn't grow a beard to save my life. I barely had facial hair at all. And then, you're in there for 7 years and then you can finally at least grow a beard. So that was,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was, I look at old videos and pictures and I was like, feel like I was a little kid then. I didn't realize how much I still had to develop.
Yeah. Speaking of, development, even though you won the Super 32, and that was going to catapult you, like, all right, I just won the toughest tournament in the country. State tournament should be next goal, right? Psh,
Yeah.
wrong, wrong,
Yeah.
like, so was that sort of a reality check for you that like you still had, um, you know, you still had steps to go up
Yeah.
essentially?
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I got second at the state tournament freshman year, sophomore year, junior year. Finally broke through my senior year, and I was losing to really good guys. Like I lost to Lezak my freshman year. I lost to Connor Schramm, who All American at Stanford, my sophomore year. I lost to Vincenzo Joseph my junior year. Like close matches. I mean, two of those guys were national finalists. One was a champ a couple times. Like they were all good guys. Like I knew how good I was, but just kind of the nature of being in Pennsylvania and seeking out the top competition. Like it was. I knew that winning a Pennsylvania state title, at least at the weights I was at when I was coming through, I knew that was going to be as hard as winning any tournament.
Mhm.
It's just how it is kind of, but it still hurt to not break through for a while there. And I would get a little frustrated because I would go to
Yeah.
national tournaments and wrestle a two-time state champ from this state and a three-time state champ from this state. I'd be like, man, I'm still not even a state champ. But I don't know. They just try to keep in mind, like, it doesn't define who I am as a wrestler. I know how good I am. I'm just gonna just keep getting better, and that stuff will take care of itself. And then finally was able to break through.
Yeah. Did that ever wear on you a little bit? Always, I don't know other way to say it, but always, at least when it came to the state tournament, being the bridesmaid and never the bride, you always came up short. I mean, did that wear on you at all at times?
I think so. I mean, be lying if I said I didn't feel it a little bit, like just because you lose once. It's like I'm not gonna be a four timer, but
Mhm.
I'll get back, and then you lose again, and then it's like, man, 2 years in a row. The third time is when it's really like, man, like now I got one chance left. I've been this close. I remember every time I'd be like, I gotta wait a whole another year for this. Like that's kind of the thoughts that I would have and the frustrations. But I don't know. I had a lot of good people that had my back through it, and there's so many good opportunities to compete that it'd be like, you know what, let's just go and compete at Fargo, compete at Super 32. Like you got all these competitions to get better, and then before you know it, the state tournament's there again, and you get another crack. But it was hard. I mean, it uh it never made me love the sport less because I couldn't
Yeah.
stay away, but it was just frustrating.
Yeah. And then what about when you finally did break through and, quote unquote, got that monkey off your back? Like, was that more relief than anything, or was it still pretty just, incredible to have that happen, winning a state title your senior year?
Yeah, it was honestly kind of relief. Um it felt good, but it was just kind of like I expected to do it. I had expected
Right.
to do it earlier, so it was relief for sure. Like I think there were a lot of people that were happy for me just because they knew that they got monkey off your back type of thing. But it's just funny, like in sports and in wrestling and in life, like you're just on to the next thing. Like I was like, all right, I'm going to Iowa next year. Like I want to. My goal is to start winning NCAA titles. Like you just start focusing on the next thing so fast that you only
Yeah.
appreciate it for so long. So I enjoyed it. I was happy about it, but I was kind of already like excited to get to the next thing. So
Mhm.
kind of like the next thing up.
Yeah. Looking back though on it, like that's why I like to sort of talk about these things and kind of put us back in that moment to just reflect and pause as if we were in that moment because we do move on so quickly. It is
Yeah,
the next best thing. Like we're already looking ahead to next year,
yeah,
to some extent. So like, you know, as you look back on that state title and like I mean, the work you put in to get there and coming up short and the adversity to land where you did had to be just pretty awesome. At any point you could have thrown in the towel or like doubt could have won and it just never did.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was a huge moment for my life, for me as a person, for my development. Like, you just never know when you're going to break through. You never know whenever
Right.
success is going to come. And a lot of times, whenever people give up or turn back, like, you just don't know how close you are. And so that was a really good lesson that, like, it's going to come. Just believe in it, believe in what you're doing, believe in the people around you. And I mean, that's why it's easy to give that message to my athletes, to my guys. Like, trust me, like, you might not be able to see the big picture, but I can see how close you are. Like, I can see that
Mm.
you're there. So sometimes you just need someone else to have that trust. And I think as a coach, you have a little bit different of a view. You kind of get a little more of a, like, full picture, big picture view. So you can see things that maybe the athlete can't see. So, but yeah, I use those in things outside of wrestling too, just knowing, like, believe in the process of what you're doing, and you'll reap the benefits eventually. It just might not come as fast as you might be
Oh,
an extra couple of years.
I know that's so tough too to be like, it's gonna come when it comes. It may not come when you want it to, and you're just like, I want it now.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
um, by that point, you said you had committed to Iowa. What was the recruiting process though like? I'm sure there were Lehigh was probably one of those on the top of the list there. Like, what was it like, sort of going through that and trying to find the best spot for Michael Kemerer?
It was a tough process, just because everyone's putting their best foot forward, showing you the best things about their school, and I was pretty open to looking at places and hearing about things. I mean, wrestling was obviously really important to me, and academics was really important to me. It's just something that it's always been really important in my family. So those were two really important things. And then just feeling like I was going to be in a place where I was going to be cared for and taken care of, and people were going to have my back. Like, those were all things that were really important. So,
Hmm.
I went through the process. I looked at a lot of schools. Back then you can only take 5 official visits. I took 4. I went to Cornell, Lehigh, Iowa, and Stanford. So,
Oh
a
wow.
couple of those Ivy type schools, and
Yeah.
then a Big Ten in Iowa. And yeah, just going through that process. It's a story that I've told before, but things that were really important to me were just, like, being around people that were super serious about wrestling, and I didn't really want to be in, like, a big party atmosphere. And so it's kind of funny. I went on my visit to Iowa, and it was in the preseason, and guys were having a good time, and it just seemed like a little bit too much for me. Like, I was like, I don't know, like, I just want something that's a little quieter, a little more just people are focused. Like, not that you can't have fun, but just seemed like a big, like a party atmosphere to me,
Sure.
which,
Yeah.
high school kid coming out, I was a little bit like, I don't know if that's for me. And so I basically was, like, talking to my coaches, talking to my people in my circle, and saying that I wanted to go to Lehigh. I was, like, really pretty close to making the decision. And then Tom Brands drove out, came, saw me, saw my family, basically just said, like, hey, that's not what we're about. Like, we're about people that are driven, that love wrestling, and that's the most important thing. Like, we don't want a party culture. We want a culture of people that are mat rats, that want to wrestle and want to win. Um, and so that just meant a lot, him coming out, and really made me rethink things and talk with my family, and ended up making the decision to go out there. And obviously I had an amazing experience and loved it. But yeah, it was just kind of a crazy time going through all that and sorting through that.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when like you were there and you witnessed like it. I'm curious how he was able to kind of talk you back a little bit when you went there and you experienced what you experienced, and then he comes down and goes, "Whoa, whoa, 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 we're not about that." And it's like, well, I was just there, and that's kind of what I experienced. So how was that like? I don't know, you know what I mean? Like how are you not about that when I just went out there and that's sort of the vibe I got.
Yeah. I mean, there was just a ton of accountability. Like, that's something that the brands have always, like, they have ton of accountability, and they'll be the first ones to tell you when they made a mistake, and they'll take stuff on themselves. And they just said like, that's on me. Like, you shouldn't have been with those guys, and those guys shouldn't even be doing that. And that meant a lot, just the honesty. And then it was just exciting to me to kind of like the rebuild a little bit. Like, they hadn't won it in a couple of years, and it was like, man, you can be a part of this next group that comes in and has a good culture and has, you can get us back on top, that kind of thing, which was exciting because I was an Iowa wrestling fan growing up. I was coming through Young Guns. Jody was an Iowa alum, and
Yeah.
I watched them win a couple titles, and so I just was like, man, that's really cool to think that I could kind of bring in the next wave of Iowa wrestling and try to get some titles. So that really had a good effect on me.
Yeah. Did you talk about it much with like Spencer at all? Being on the same team as him? Like, did you guys discuss it much, or were you kind of like, we'll make our decision on our own, not on our own, but like, we'll figure it out and do what's best for us.
Yeah, I definitely I tried to advocate for the program. I mean, I knew from having him as a teammate in high school, like, that he's a killer on the mat, but I also knew, like, same thing, that he was about the right things, and that he would be such a big part of our team, an important part of our team. And he was such a big part of my high school team. I just knew the effect he could have on a program. So I definitely was, and I was honestly loving my experience. So I was sharing those things with him. Like, I didn't have to make stuff up. I was having a great experience, and he came out on his recruiting visit and was with me, and just, yeah, I just was straight up with him. I mean, he knew he could
Yeah.
trust me. He knew I was a straight shooter about it, and I told him that I really was enjoying my time and that I thought he would love it. And at the end of the day, I wasn't. I was like, I won't hold it against you if you decide
Yeah.
to go here or wherever else, but I'd love to have you as a teammate. And then it ended up working out.
Yeah. What about the academic side? You've said a couple times that was sort of kind of a big deal for you. And when you compare those four schools academically, Iowa is obviously below those ones. So like, um, what were you thinking academically going to Iowa? Did you have an idea of what you wanted to do or where you wanted to go with that?
I wasn't totally sure what I wanted to do. I mean, business, I knew like roughly. And my thinking was kind of like, well, if I make a name for myself on the mat, like, that's going to help for one thing if I want to go into the business world. And I feel like Iowa wrestling has a brand. Um, I felt like there would be a lot of alum that could probably, like, if I needed to go down a certain route, I could. And so I just thought more about that versus, like, obviously the value of the degree of those places is amazing. And there's
Right.
that, and I'm sure they have good networking too, but
Mhm.
I just, I knew I could still go to a Big Ten school and get a great education and have good connections and, get where I needed to be. So that was kind of, what led me there.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know, um, as far as academics, was it difficult transitioning from high school to college and like trying to stay on top of your studies and you're competing and now you're hurt and that's taking a mental toll on you? Like, was there ever a time where things may have fluctuated a little bit and got, sort of difficult at times?
There were probably a couple times where, like, yeah, you can have a lot of uh, deadlines coming up, things like that. But I feel like for college, I almost enjoyed the structure of school more in college.
Nice. Yeah.
There's so much more built-in free time, so I feel like I could just use my time well. I could get my wrestling in, my workouts in, and I could find time to really lock in and do my schoolwork. And I feel like it was easier for me. And in high school, I was trying to get workouts in and do all those things, but you're confined to be in a building for
Right.
8 hours a day or whatever it is. So I feel like there were times where I was in school and I was sitting there and I was like, I just feel like I'd be like, sometimes I'm trying to like do my homework, like as soon as it's handed to me before the class ends, like just so I could have more time to train in high school. That was just
Hmm.
kind of like trying to like make the most of my time. Whereas in college, I didn't have to, like, I just had more time to work
Hmm.
around. So maybe it was harder, but I could use my time a little bit better.
Yeah. Did you consult with like your sisters and all about the college scene? Did you come home and be like, all right, All right, sisters. Here's what I got. What do you guys think? Did they help you at all?
Not really, honestly. I give them a hard time for that, but no, they just knew like they knew that I had a lot of good opportunities, and I know they were
Yeah.
happy for me, but they were just um, they were supportive. But I
Yeah.
think at the end of the day, they knew that I was probably going to go where I wanted to go, and that was
Yeah.
it, which is crazy. Like obviously, like having a twin, like you're in classes together and have the same friends and everything. You're together for so much the first 18 years of your life, so it's just kind of crazy all of a sudden going across the country, like you have your first birthday where you're not together, like things like that are just kind of crazy. Like that was like a crazy thing I
Yeah.
remember, but they knew that I was, serious about it. So,
Yeah. Well, did you ever maybe say, "Hey, why don't you come to Iowa too?" Then, or
no, I didn't. Just,
no?
I mean, I think I would joke about with my younger sisters. I knew my Marissa, my twin sister. I knew that she wanted to be a PA, and they had a 5 year program at a couple schools close by. I knew she was going to stay close. Um,
Gotcha.
my younger sisters, I would joke and say things every once in a while, but
Mhm.
uh, I knew that they were going to be relatively close.
Yeah. Did Julia, was it Julia who went to Ohio State, the older sister? Did
Yeah,
she ever recruit you?
um, she was a Buckeye fan. Like she would say
Yeah.
things like every once in a while. I went to a couple Ohio State duels when she was there.
Nice.
I was like a fresh or maybe a sophomore. Like before I was recruitable, I remember going out there and
Yeah.
checking it out. And there was probably a period of my life where I was like, I could see myself being here. Like she's there.
Sure.
I've been here. I'm familiar. It's relatively close. And um, but wasn't in the cards. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was yeah. She would definitely like have liked if I would have been.
Yeah. Well, when was the first time you kind of started having shoulder problems?
The first time was my second NCAAs. It was in Cleveland, and I was in the third and fourth place match. I was wrestling Tyler Berger, and it was like a minute into the match, and I hit a shot, and I kind of slipped, and I hit my elbow off the mat weird, and my shoulder like subluxed, and it was pretty painful. And I remember taking injury time, and then I went in and kind of started wrestling again for a little bit, and it was just like super sore. It kind of like felt jacked up. And I remember medical forfeiting, like I injury default out of the match, and I was pretty upset about it. And then getting it checked out and everything. And that was like the first initial tear was in that match.
Did you think at that time at all that this was going to be an issue, or were you like, "I'll get it taken care of. We'll be on my way"?
Yeah, I knew it was a serious injury just because like how it felt. It didn't feel good, but I didn't. I guess I didn't realize the extent of like shoulder injuries and how
Right.
hard they are to come back from, or at least you can come back from them, but your shoulder's not really the same as it is whenever it's just never had any injury, I would say. Whereas like I've had my ACL repaired and things, and that like I feel is as good as ever. But shoulders are just a little bit different. Like I don't know if they're never like a brand new fresh shoulder. So
Interesting. Interesting. You must be pretty well versed in shoulder injuries and vocabulary, I would think, right?
yeah, I'm basically a doctor just by being on the other end so much. So I've had my fair share of shoulder things, so I know a little bit about it.
Yeah. Was there ever a time, when you were kind of going through those shoulder injuries that you thought your career was over, or you were told your career was over, or they suggested, your career should be over?
Um, Not the first time. The second, so I tore it. I got it repaired, and then I retore it, and then my senior year, and it was dislocating, and it was a problem, and I missed a lot of the season. There were times during that season where I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to finish the year. Like I can remember just really just battling with if I was going to be able to get it done, and should I pull the plug, and should I keep going? Like I remember thinking that, and I didn't know if after a second shoulder surgery, if you can feel okay after that or what that entails. But I definitely knew that year was really tough. I really
Mhm.
was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it through this year. This felt really bad.
Why'd you keep going? Like, at any point, yeah, you could have been like, dude, no, enough is enough. Like, I don't want to do this to my body. Like, man, why did you, why didn't you just keep going? Why'd you do that to yourself?
Uh, I just, I guess I just really wanted to show myself that I could do it, that I could, I just remember thinking like, um, I'm just gonna like I know I love wrestling, but like how much do I
Mhm.
really love wrestling when I know that I'm probably not putting the best version of myself out there, but I got to go out there and compete anyway. And that can be like a really scary thing when you're a really competitive person. It can be really scary to like go out there and be like, I'm 70% right now, 60%, or whatever I was. So I just thought, I was like, I'm going to prove to myself, like, I love wrestling. I'm going to find a way. I was like, I'm going to inspire my teammates by competing through this. I'm going to inspire the people around me. Like, um, I think that was something that I focused on. I also focused on just like it might not be pretty, but I'm gonna win ugly is like kind of like a phrase I had in my mind. Like I'm just gonna might not look pretty. It might not look like myself, but I'm just gonna find ways to get the job done. Take pride in that.
Yeah, that's a pretty um incredible thing to say right there. Um, that that you as an athlete you can be scared if you're in a way I would say like you're vulnerable. You feel
Right.
like um, you're not invincible.
Yeah.
Like that can be a scary feeling when you feel it for the first time as an athlete. Like you obviously we're kids, we think we're invincible, and then all of a sudden something happens and you're not. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm human. And
Yeah.
yeah. So that's a pretty God, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. That's a pretty incredible thing to think though, or to speak out and have people who are listening think about that for a second, you know?
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, you just put so much of your identity and value into wrestling, and that's where like people talk about having faith and like how that's so important. And it's something that like when things get tough and like this is just wrestling, this is just a sport. Like I think that those things help a lot. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, you can definitely be like, man, people are going to judge me because I'm not wrestling how I can, or I'm failing, or this or that. But it's like if I just focus on what I can control, and it's like God's going to love me if I win this wrestling match or not. Like I just
Right.
all He would want is me to just do my best and use the gifts I've been given, and so that's what I try to do, and makes it a lot easier to take the stress off.
Yeah. And you didn't I would say you didn't only inspire people on the Iowa wrestling team. I feel like there was a ripple effect throughout the country. After Hayden Hidley, I think, he beat you for third and fourth. Did you hear him kind of give you a shout out that you were probably one of the toughest guys in at the tournament that year, you know?
Yeah.
I
Yeah, that
mean,
was that was really cool. I know I gave him like that interview is like a really popular interview too, like where he talks about
yeah.
his brother and stuff. So it still doesn't make me feel good about losing the match, but
Right.
but it was a really cool thing for him to say. And we've actually competed against each other for a long time, just him being from Pennsylvania. So I've got a lot of respect. I know the Highleys are great, but yeah, that was a cool shout out.
Yeah. Like you said, yeah, probably didn't make losing any better, but it just kind of showed the impact that you were making. Kind of like what you said earlier about how if I can make a name for myself wrestling, some of these other things might take care of itself. And like, I feel like that was proof that you kind of did, you know,
Yeah,
when he could have said anything. And one of the things he said in that moment was how much respect and how tough you
yeah.
are. Sorry, how tough you are.
Hopefully, still. I
Yeah,
don't.
right,
I wouldn't choose to go through that again, but
right. I
uh,
just, yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
no, no. I just was gonna say, yeah, I was, yeah. Any chance you can get to inspire people or um, motivate people or have an impact, I guess. Like that's the things that are bigger than sports for sure.
Yeah. Um, Two things here. One's kind of more of a negative, so I'll start with that one. The one that I remember you wrestling, I'll never forget it. Um, the Big Ten. So I went to the University of Nebraska, and the Big Tens were at Nebraska that year. and you were wrestling Ethan Smith.
Oh yeah.
And I will never forget that time. I like your shoulder went out or something, and you like yelled on the mat, and you were like hunched over, and I was like, oh my gosh. So like I felt it because like I heard you, and you could obviously like we knew something was wrong as wrestling fans. We didn't know exactly what, obviously, but like your heart just sank, and you were just like, oh boy, I don't know what's gonna happen now. So like that's something that will always be ingrained in my mind is that match at Big Tens that year. So I mean, how did you? Because even me, I was like, what are you doing? Like just stop, man. Ugh.
Uh,
Like what were you thinking in that moment if you remember that match at all?
oh yeah, I remember that. That was. I mean, I'd had that happen in practice, but never in a match. That was kind of one of the things that could give me anxiety, or you could say fear or something. Going out there is you do that. Now they got to put it back in. Now that guy gets choice. So you're kind of giving the guy an advantage. And that's something that I can't really control that much. So I knew there was a possibility. I kind of practiced in my mind that scenario happening. And I just always pictured, I
Oh,
believe in visualization, and I pictured myself just really responding well. And so that's what I tried to do. I guess in the moment is just respond well. And the big thing my coaches would say is like, so what, what's next? Like that was like a thing that Terry Brands would say, like something goes wrong. So what, what's next? So I just told myself that, and I needed to get another takedown in that match because that is, he went down, got the escape and tied it up. And um, yeah, just finding that spot where I could lock in and score the point. And yeah, same
yeah.
thing, proving to myself, proving to my teammates, like you can find a way. It doesn't matter what your circumstances are, make the most out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then on the flip side, the positive thing that I remember was when you beat Mark Hall. I was at that duel, and I like it's one of the I'm gonna say one of because there's a couple other that come to mind, the loudest moments that I've been and heard Carver. Like, was it loud for you? Like as loud as it was for like me? I'm just trying to imagine being on the mat there and having like it was so incredibly loud and intense. But like, did you feel that as you were wrestling?
Yeah, I subconsciously felt it.
Okay.
Like you're just kind of locked in and you're focused, but you feel energy. Like that's one of the things that I tell people that haven't like wrestled in like a big environment is you kind of feel energy. Like it's a weird thing. I don't know how to describe it, but I definitely felt the
Mhm.
energy of the crowd like throughout the match. But it was the kind of same thing I said earlier about finding consistency. Like I was just simplifying my thinking. Like
Hmm.
find the next score, find the next score, move my hands, move my feet, like, and just let myself wrestle. Like I always believe that, if I can turn my mind off and just wrestle, like good things are going to happen. So I feel like a lot of that, I was so focused on that it's different than taking it as a fan. Like you're really in the zone.
Yeah.
But, at the end, I can remember just feeling it a little bit, and you feel just a great feeling, obviously, and huge for the duel. But
Hmm.
probably just a different perspective. It's hard to when you're in the moment. It's really hard to appreciate it till later. But everyone tells me that it was that they were there and it was so loud. So
It
and it
was, yeah.
was loud.
Yeah. What's up with the thumbs up? Who started that?
I
Like,
don't know. I don't know how that started. The I did like this little thing where I like pointed to my hand and the palm of my hand, and the story behind that I've had people ask me is that Tom Brands would talk to the team, just have different talks and stuff. And one of the things he said is like, if you wrestle the right way, that crowd will love it. He's like, if you wrestle the right way, the crowd they'll be eating out of your hand. Like you'll be able to just they're eating out of your hand. He's like, you'll be able to go like this, and you will know they're just eating out of your. So I'm not a big celebration guy. I definitely don't plan celebrations, but
right.
for whatever reason, there was kind of a long pause at the end of the match. Like I was kind of riding at the end of the match, and it's like I got to do something, and that was just came to my head. I think I always thought it was kind of a cool idea. So, but then no one really knew what it meant, so that was a downside. But
Yeah, and the thumbs up kind of fits that personality of you. You don't seem like a big, one that's gonna roar or yell or whatever. So like just a simple thumbs up kind of it seems like now that I've kind of talked to you a little bit, like it fits your personality perfect. You're just like, nice
Yeah.
job. Yeah,
Yeah.
got it done. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like the celebration's cool. Like obviously, there's cool things. Like if someone goes crazy, like you get some cool pictures and stuff, I guess. But
Yeah.
for me, it's just like satisfaction, just like it's a good feeling. Like I was happy with it, and um, that's enough for me. Like I'm glad that I did what I needed to do. So
Yeah. Did you ever imagine, I'm sure you've been asked this a lot too, but did you ever imagine you were going to be in school for that long? For
no,
7 years?
no, definitely not.
Because that's the other question I had. Like, not only keep going wrestling wise, and why did you keep going, but like academically, like that's the other part that I think people forget about is we only see you wrestling and stuff, and we don't know that, like, dude, you had to apply to, you probably had to get into grad school, right? And then you had to take, or was it just
Yeah,
masters?
yeah, I did my master's. So I got my master's. So I graduated in 4 years. So I got the medical red shirt. So I knew I would have 2 years. So I was like, okay, I'll use these last 2 years and I'll finish
Hmm.
my master's, and that's that last spring, and I'll be done. But then I got the COVID year.
Yeah.
So that turned into 7 years. So then I was like, well, now I'm going to graduate with my master's and still have two
Yeah.
semesters to do. So I did like a human relations minor. It was all online classes. It was really easy, but it was kind of funny because I was in class with a lot of, I think, freshmen. Like it was an class, but I was like, I'm 24 years old in class with freshmen, so that was really interesting.
So you, so hold on. So explain that kind of again. You didn't go into another master's program or anything. You were just doing a,
I just so I re-enrolled. You could just like re-enroll as a student and say like non-degree seeking or something like that.
yeah, okay.
For my degree, I guess I was seeking a minor. So I was just like seeking a minor. So I took this human relations minor because I heard it
Mhm.
was really easy, if just to be
Yeah.
honest. And so
Was it easy?
oh, it was so easy.
That's the only class you had to take? You just had to take one class?
No, it was I'd take 18 semester hours to get the minor. So I took
Okay.
15 in the fall, and then I took three in the spring. And I saved the easiest one for the spring. So the spring I was basically not in school.
I'm surprised that you only had to take three in the spring because then you weren't a full-time student.
Yeah, but because I was like picking up a certificate, like I was
Oh,
because I was finishing a minor, or like
gotcha.
if you're in your graduating semester, you can just take the minimum needed to graduate. So it was kind
Gotcha.
of so I got myself that situation. So
Nice.
yeah, loopholes.
Okay. Yeah, right. And where did the nickname Grandpa Mike come from? Didn't they like all start calling you Grandpa
Yeah,
Kemerer, Grandpa Mike or something?
yeah. Grandpa Mike became a thing. I think just because I was the old guy on the team, and I was just trying to embrace it because I knew coming back, being a seventh year, that you're just gonna get so much hate. So the best way to do it is you got to just make a joke out of it, and I don't take things too seriously. So yeah, they were calling me Grandpa Mike. I was loving it. I was thinking
Yeah.
about dyeing my hair gray or something, but I thought that might have been a little bit too far. So
Yeah, that would have been funny. That would have been funny. Because did they get shirts made and stuff of all that too?
yeah, they were Grandpa Mike shirts and all the crazy stuff.
Jeez. You know, we talk about all this stuff and all the things that you went through and the the sucky part is at the end of the day, you never did reach the ultimate goal of being a national champ. So like at the time, like did you think it was all for naught? I mean, did you have a moment of regret and being like, why did I go to 7 years of school? Why did I put my body through this when I didn't even reach the ultimate goal anyway? Like, you know what I mean? Like there's those negative thoughts that could have creeped in.
Yeah. I mean, I've probably had those thoughts in like a tough moment, maybe, but for the most part, like I talked a little bit about like having faith earlier, and to me,
Yeah.
it is like it's so cliche, but everything happens for a reason. Like that
Mhm.
seventh year coming back for that, just going through that experience of being injured and wrestling through it and finding a way to just get more out of myself, like that just had a big effect on me as a person. It's just things like that that I think about. And obviously you wrestle and you want to achieve your goals, but you just learn so many lessons from the sport. I mean, there's so many things that, if I didn't have that last year, like I met my wife my last year, like maybe,
Really?
yeah,
Nice. Okay.
go through injuries and this and that and COVID and all these things are thrown at you, but then meet my wife then and, wouldn't change that for the world, wouldn't trade that for the
Yeah.
world. So it's like, um, yeah, I cared so much about being a national champion, would have loved that. And it was so important to me, but like, I'm very happy with where my life's at. And, now I get to give back to some of these guys. So
Yeah.
I really don't have regret. Obviously, I would have liked to achieve being a national champion, and I had high goals, but it's shaped who I am as a person. And I don't really look back a lot. I just
Yeah.
there's always things to chase after. So
Yeah. How'd you meet your wife? What took you so long? I mean, you were there for
I
7 years.
seriously, it's just everyone's got to stay in college 7 years. Eventually, you'll find your wife. But I met her, funny enough, at a duel I was wrestling in. I believe it was against Minnesota actually, but she was at the duel and she just tale as old as time. She followed me on Instagram and after the duel, and I followed her back, and then I messaged her, and the rest is history. So pretty
Wow.
cool. The 21st century social media.
Yeah. I assume you didn't know her at all before then? You just,
Oh, totally random.
what gave you the courage to just up and message her then?
I don't know. Um, just feeling good after a wrestling match. I still got the adrenaline going or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, a couple questions here before I let you go. We talked a lot about wrestling and like how you did it and why you did it, but what did you do to sort of take a break from wrestling? Like it's a very strenuous sport and you were very involved in it, but like how did you take a break and reset mentally and emotionally and just physically? Like, I just need my Michael Kemerer time today.
yeah. It's a good question because yeah, I do love it, love the sport. But if I need a break, I mean, a lot of it. I'm not like a huge hobbies guy. Like, I don't golf or anything like that really.
Mhm.
But just being around friends, like I had a good group of friends in college. I had a good group of friends in high school. Like I don't know, I've just like being around friends and yeah, I'm a big sports fan, so I would watch a lot of sports, football and things like that. It's just kind of
Mhm.
something to take my mind off. But especially like my teammates and I in college, we would get pretty into the NFL and college football and talk about that a lot. And I feel
Yeah.
like that was a way to like take my focus off of like being a wrestling fan almost because I feel like some people you can become when you're in it, it's hard to be a fan. Like you kind of got to remove yourself. So I would just
Yeah.
focus other things and kind of just distract myself. And I enjoy other sports too. So that's kind of like what I've been into. But just yeah, that's kind of the biggest things.
Yeah. And, did you think that you were going to get into coaching or did that also just sort of happen by chance in a sense?
I didn't think I was gonna get into coaching. I mean,
Oh, really?
I didn't know. I thought I was gonna use my degree and do whatever there. But I did have a job for a little bit after college. I went to Cornell was my first move, and I was a part of their RTC, and they hooked me up with a job through their alumni, and it was a really cool opportunity. But I
Kind of
just,
a full circle moment there.
yeah,
That you wound up at Cornell anyway.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was kind of crazy, but I just was gravitating towards the wrestling and starting to I don't know, I needed a little break maybe after college wrestling, but then just like being
Sure.
around guys and getting to work with them and even just being like in the RTC, but seeing guys that I was wrestling with have success and kind of feeling the emotions when they were wrestling, I was like, oh, this is kind of
Yeah.
cool. And I wasn't really as into the job as the wrestling, so I was like, maybe there's something here, and it's been great. I mean, I love it.
Yeah. What did you end up getting a degree in?
My undergrad was finance, and
Okay.
master's was just an MS in finance too. So both finance.
And so you thought you were going to be what? Let's do something with finance, apparently.
Yeah, maybe some sort of wealth management or when I was working that job, there was a healthcare company that I was like in the finance department of, um, but it just doesn't beat. wrestling, just being at a wrestling tournament all day on a Saturday.
Yeah. 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 Last question for you here. I think I could speak for a lot of wrestling, Iowa Hawkeye wrestling fans anyway, that like, I feel like you made your stamp on them and like you are one of the ones that they're going to remember. And you're one of the favorites of the past that, like you have pushed yourself into echelon of one of the Hawkeye favorites, especially over the last 20 years, like just the way you carried yourself, I feel like just if you came around ever Iowa City or Iowa wrestling, like people would just embrace you because of the way you carried yourself. So like, I mean, I know you don't think about that stuff much, as you're kind of focusing on the next best thing, but I mean, does that resonate with you at all? Do you kind of look back on your time at Iowa and be like, you know what, I'm very happy with what I did and accomplished, and I can lay my head down at night thinking I did my best?
For sure. I think that, yeah, I can feel it for sure. Like just being at any wrestling event or where there's Iowa people, and obviously they're always have good things to say. Like it's always super positive. But yeah, I mean, we brought a team title back. I think we would have. I'm biased, but I think a lot of people would agree. I think we would have gotten another one the year it
Yeah.
got canceled. Like, super proud of that. Like that was like I talked about my recruiting visit and trying to bring Iowa back, and I feel like we had some really good teams that did that, and so I'm really proud of that. And I've got so many good friendships from being there and good relationships. So all those things are really important to me. And yeah, I'm proud of my career, and I know I left it out there all the time and try to do things the right way. And yeah, now I carry those lessons with me, and I think that, like I said, I wouldn't trade a thing. I'm happy with where I'm at, and now I'm, in a new program, but I'm trying to do the same thing with them, and bring them back and keep building and keep getting better every year, and just trying to leave my mark and do the best I can, and that's really all you can do. So,
Yeah. Yeah. You're now at another school where you're trying to bring them a title back.
yep,
It's been a
yep,
while. And I think a lot of people were pretty excited when McEnelly came out in that gold singlet, like
yep.
those are iconic singlets in the sport, in the wrestling world. So I think, you know, keep it going. And I think, Minnesota will be fun to watch. They're already fun to watch, but they're trending in the right direction. So, um, yeah, what's next for Minnesota?
Um, just, we got some tournaments coming up, some freestyle this off season, and then, it just starts back up again. But just trying to just keep building off the success we had this year. And I love the guys we have in the room. I love the culture we have in place and the guys that decide to be here. I think that we got a really good group of guys coming in. We got a big freshman class coming in next year with some really tough kids. So
Yeah.
excited to get to work with them and just keep this thing rolling and keep building it. But yeah, that's kind of what the plan is.
Nice. Yeah, I love it because I grew up right around when those 10 All-American teams and Minnesota was competing for national titles with Jay Robinson, and man, they still are tough, but those were some fun years, and hopefully soon we'll be back to battling with Iowa, Minnesota, Oklahoma State, and all them. So um,
Yep.
shout out Zach Sanders, nice guy. So
Yep.
glad he hooked us up, and um, I keep cheering for him. So yeah. Anyway,
Yep. He's the man.
thanks again for listening to this episode of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. Special thanks to my guest, assistant coach Michael Kemerer, for taking the time to sit down and chat with me. Cover art created and designed by Kristen Gill. Please feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe to the podcast. And check me out on YouTube, Instagram, and my Facebook page to hear more of my content. And don't forget to check out my website at letstalkwrestlingpodcast.my.canva.site. And as always, be sure to tune in to hear the next guest of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. Take care. We'll see you next time.